cracking comprehension activity for SSP teachers. Here's another 10-minute tutorial, or just over.
So this is a message to SSP teachers who are learning support, taking older children, perhaps year 3, 4, 5, 6, who still aren't reading fluently, aren't reading age-appropriate text with fluency and comprehension. So you're doing learning support, SSP learning support, your response to intervention. Choose a book that the children choose, it doesn't matter what the book is. It can be a Minecraft book, it can be a Pokemon book, it doesn't matter what the text is like inside. So what you're going to do is they as a group are going to decide on the book. Now then you're going to choose, it might be the first page, it's up to you, it doesn't really matter. I've just chosen the middle here for this exercise. So what we're going to do is you might just do one, depends on how many kids you've got in the group because each child is going to have their own sentence. Now to start off with, you're going to photocopy that so that everybody has their own sheet. Okay, so I've got my sheet, let's say we're just doing that page. And to start off with, as a group, everybody points to speedy pair decoding with you as the follow the sounds person. So everybody points. So everybody has got their eyes on the same word. You're going to follow the sounds. P or, speedy pair decoding, so they blend. Pour, you say. James, they blend. James. Were Oz, was. Still, or ing, slaving. Up were a. Away, at, the, chop, it, chopping, block. And then all together, poor James was still slaving away at the chopping block. Then you might say, John, that's your sentence, remember. Okay, so John's going to remember that's his sentence. You might put a circle around it, whatever else. He's going to remember that is his sentence. But go through until everybody's got their own sentence. Because as you're going through, everybody's still hearing everybody else's sentence. Then they're going to go in their code mapping book. I've just got a piece of paper here. We're just in their code mapping book. So they are going to then write out that sentence. So just their sentence. Okay, so they're going to write it out. So it doesn't even matter if they're not reading it at this stage, they're just copying it. Sorry, dog hairs everywhere. Or, now if they can do the sounds as they're doing it, brilliant. But if not, just write it. James, was, still, ing, slaving, away, at, the, chopping, block. So that's my sentence. That's the only sentence I need to think about. Now I'm going to code it. P, or, pour, z. Now on that, they might want to say, oh, it's a blue level sound pick sandwich. Talk about it. But James is a whole word. So actually, I think perhaps we could have done James. Anyway, let them talk about it because it's the process that matters. The word's not going to change. Was, still, slaving, away, at, the, chop, chopping, block. Then go back and number them. P or pour, if you're doing just a blue level sandwich, was, still, slaving, away, at, the, chopping, block. Read it again. Poor James was still slaving away at the chopping block. All sorts of things are going on in the brain there whilst they're doing that. Then what they're going to do is they're going to type it out.
Now I suggest before they type it out that you make sure they have got the coding correct. You can either check it, or if you've got other children, the children could check each other's. It depends on their level of coding. But make sure you check it before they type it.
Now you might have already done it already, so that they can check. They might be doing this with a partner. You know your kids, you know the best way to do it. So then they're going to type it out. So let's just do their sentence. Okay, so when I first coded it, I did it as J, A, M, Z. When we've got a word with a suffix, we actually go down to the base word, but this is a proper noun. So put or pour, and then we might talk. If I had done it, they might discuss how they did that. Were os was to ill stills or a the ing slaving were a way at the chopping block, and I just did it as well. Lots of different colours there, because I wanted you to be able to see it. We normally do black, grey, as long as you're showing how the speech sounds are segmented. And this again shows why you don't need any syllables, onset and rhyme, blends, anything at all. It's at the phoneme level. How do the phonemes map on paper? Put or pour, the smallest units of speech mapped on paper.
And of course, what your older children love, children who have been failed by the system, they haven't understood all this syllabification and these rules and rote learning of spelling rules and all sorts. They haven't understood that. Whereas they can understand, they can say the word, they can identify the speech sounds, and they can map it. Every speech sound maps with a letter or string of letters. It's clean, it's crisp. They don't have to remember anything. They can come in with this fresh and work it out using problem-solving skills. But also, because we're dealing with the phoneme level, it's overcoming their phonemic awareness deficit. And it is poor phonemic awareness that matters for reading and spelling, not the poor phonological awareness, which is just a broad term. We have to be specific. Phonemic awareness.
Okay, so when he's then got his sentence, then all the children are going to have their sentences. So typing as well, we need those year 3, 4, 5, 6 children to be typing. They've had to type, they've had to change the colours, so you can tick off those with your Akara strands. So then each child has got their own sentence. Now, ideally, when all the children have done their sentences, laminate them, because you can use these over and over again for future activities. So the children have got theirs. Then what you do is shuffle them all up, and then put them into, shuffle them all up, and then as a group, they've got to put them all in the right order. Or you might have this as, you might have done this and then printed lots of different ones or what have you, so that they can do it in twos, or it depends on how many kids you've got. But basically the next part is they've got to put them back in the right order. So they might remember, see if first of all they can do it without going back to the text, but see if they can do it in a logical order. This is where your fluency with comprehension comes into it. So far it's been a phonemic awareness and phonics exercise. It's been developing your encoding, your spelling skills. The children, if that's the word chopper, it's developing their spelling skills and their understanding of the code. But now we need to do it so that it links with meaning. Okay, so now, which is the first one? His arm was aching all over. Well, was that before the heat was terrible? Was he sweating all over afterwards? So you're doing the oral language. So you're doing the oral language and the comprehension. Okay, so now you need to have all of these laminated. So what you can then do for future children is you can put these as a little pack. So these are, let's say we had the whole of all of those sentences. Take that, laminate that, put it in a little pack, put it in with all of these. And then a child later on, it might be the same children, can come back to it and say, right, now can you read this? And now can you get all the sentences and put them in the right order without looking at it, or with looking at it is up to you. So you're reinforcing. Now this is really important because a lot of the comprehension activities that I see people doing, first of all, the children can't read it. So the teacher ends up reading it. Then it becomes a different part of the brain that's doing the answering the questions. But you do too much. Make it small and manageable. Make sure they understand all the words and even that much text, that they can use it. Because whilst they're doing it, it's not just about being able to read this paragraph. It's that whilst they're doing that, they're understanding patterns in the code. They're looking at, think about your, basic phonics programs. They don't cover they really don't cover enough to help make sure that all of your children are reading before they enter year 2. It's just not enough. It has to be so much more. So whilst you're doing this, you're covering things that you might not, in your phonics program, you might not have done GE as a J. You might have done, that's great. You might not have done AL as an OR. Now that's fine if you do A as an OR and an LL, but what about when you come to talk? TALK. They need to see all this. So a lot of doing this exercise is really so they're seeing code that is outside of their phonics code level and outside of the phonics program that you're using, unless of course you're using SSP, because we cover the whole code. Anyway, I hope that's useful. And of course in Prep in Year 1, do that with your pocket rockets. Yeah, so we've code mapped every sentence and all your pocket rockets, which will be available soon. So all you do is, you've got them like that already code mapped, cut them up so the children have to then put them into the right order. You can get them writing them out as well, or just have your pocket rocket, your sentences, all, the jetpack, that's one sentence. Jill has a job on the dock, that's another sentence. You might even put signs, you might even have the sign. Jackets, well, that's a good one for thinking about the schwa. Sail, oh, a little sandwich you can throw in there. So you might even have those, but the children have got to then put in the right order. So even in prep, we're doing that.
So in your prep in year 1, phase 2 routine, which is your 2-hour literacy block, you're doing this in your cracking comprehension activity. And in the response to intervention, do this as a whole response to intervention session once a week. Children cannot comprehend if they can't decode with fluency. The brain doesn't have enough working memory left over. So code mapping, code mapping, code mapping. But within that's why we call it the SSP 7 now. It's not just your 6 strands of oral language, phonemic awareness, phonics, fluency, vocab knowledge, comprehension. It's having fun. It's that relationship, it's that spark. It's that learning with pleasure, with joy. That is as important. So don't give them boring books or boring pieces of text to look at. Make it short and manageable, get something they're interested in, and make it so that we can use what they're interested in to achieve our goals. And that's what SSP is all about. It's not just about getting children to read at any age, it's to get them to love it, to become excited again, as excited as we are about the written code.